What's good? It's Music Nick. Today we're talking arranging beats. It was supposed to be episode 89 of the Cook-Up series, but I just cooked up this beat and then I went to go edit the video down and OBS just decided not to record any of it, so I just have like an hour of footage of me like talking, making a beat from scratch, arranging it out, and there's nothing. So the main point of that video was to really talk about arranging the beat, and so fuck it, we'll just like talk about arranging the beat. So unfortunately, we're not doing a cook-up, but I'm gonna show you what I did right here, which I really like hate these videos. I really don't like doing these like pre-made beat videos and showing you how I did it, but you know what, since this is just an arranging video, let's just talk about the arrangement of this beat. This arrangement video was sort of inspired by this interview I was listening to on BeatStars from DJ Payne One talking to GC Beats. He was talking about one of the themes of those conversations when they talk about those BeatStars conversations with like the top selling artists is they all talk about how their simple beats like sell the most. And then another thing GC specifically talked about was he was talking about how his arrangements are very simple. He's saying how sometimes people just need like a 3-minute loop. So he's really talking about not going too crazy in the arrangement and just really letting if it's a catchy beat, just let it play. So that was really our theme going into arranging this beat. So I have this beat that I just made right here that I intended to make on camera, but unfortunately OBS fucked us. But we can only be so mad because OBS is a free software that allows us to do this anyway, so you know we live with what we can get. And we give you a quick taste of the beat real quick, and then we'll talk about how we arranged it. So we started out with this Addictive Keys piano. We just wanted to make something like with just a chord progression. So we started out with these octaves as if it was the left hand, and then we made like a right hand chord like this, but then we so like C was where we started, so it's the C octaves, then we made a C chord up here, but then we inverted it, and that was where everything started from. That's where it all started from. Then we just wrote this catchy thing, you know, randomized, strummed it, added on a bunch of effects. Everything has the typical effects we've been using recently. A nice chorus, put on the default chorus, bring it down to 40%. Some nice retro color on my slight detune that I created. You can copy the settings here if you have it. Put that on most everything, on literally everything. So we have that piano to start, and then we really just took that main chord progression and we put it on some arps. And those really just add in layers. And then this is like our lead right here. This is like the lead sort of arp. And the chorus is this subtle flute. So we really just layered that main chord progression a bunch. So then the goal was, how do we arrange that in a catchy way? My criteria when doing so was keeping the energy moving. We have to have, yeah, pretty much that. We have to keep the energy moving. Can't let it lollygag or people aren't gonna feel the song. You gotta keep things moving. So that was the goal. Our intro here, we just did the piano. The piano is gonna be our main thing. Our piano and really keeping the drums going. So only in a few spots do you see that piano drop out in the verses just to like give us a break from the piano. And you very rarely see this 808 go out. It's really just that one time in the second verse, and we'll talk about that later. But those are really the main things that we're going to keep going, is that piano, that 808, and those hi-hats. Those are really the things that are going for the most part. Really just like everything. All the drums are really just going, if you look at that. There's very few times when you see the drums pop out, and so that's really showing most of the variation is up here in the melodies. So the main thing about our hook right here is it's very simple. So we have a kind of full sounding arp right here, but then it just breaks into just the keys and the flute. So it kind of gives us a little bit of a break from the intro, but that's when the drums come in too. So the melody kind of gets a little bit more open for the artist to come in, but then the drums come in and add the bounce. And then we saved for the second half, we saved this accenting snare, and we saved the kick to come in. And then we brought in one of that lead arp that I talked about. So let's listen to how all this sounds. And then we'll hear how it goes into the verse right here, but still keeps the momentum moving by just having a quick pause and then keeping the drums moving. So let's listen to all of that. What's good? It's Music Nick. Verse. piano a break. So kind of a big switch up of the melody, but we keep the drums moving, so the energy is still going. Give him a break from the hi-hat. Transition into the hook again. So that was our hook into our first verse. So that verse, the main thing is we're keeping that 808 going. Besides a quick little pause at the beginning and a pause at the end, we're really keeping the 808 going, and that's keeping the energy moving. And then the hats, again, same thing, just we had a pause there, and then we just give them a break here at the end. So we had to give the piano a break in the middle, and then we gave the hats a break at the end. But other than that, most everything is staying the same, so only changing really like one element. And then the next thing to talk about would be our second verse. We kept the second verse very short. It's as long as the chorus, just 2 loops. And what we did here is we wanted to give the 808 a rest, basically. So that is what we did. So I'll let you listen to that here. We do the same thing, same intro into the verse, but then the quick second half of that, it's just like gives the 808 a break, but keeps the energy moving like we talked about, and just makes a quick, catchy song. So with all the drums without the 808, there's like some tension here. Back into that chorus again, and we like having these like spacey atmospheric electras, and then we break into the more like just kind of like, I call those spacey, and I call like the piano more like specific sound. It's not too spacey, it is what it is. It's very specific. These are more just like spacey, atmospheric, just kind of adding vibes and atmosphere. And yeah, that's really the beat. We kept it very simple. We just had our intro that we talked about, our chorus, our 3-loop verse, our second chorus, our 2-loop verse, and then our final chorus, and then just an outro. So we kept it at around 2.5 minutes long. Just like a quick short song, like catchy song. 165 BPM. I was thinking this one kind of sounds like a Little Skies type beat or something, but yeah, just taking elements in and out, you know, having these more spacey, atmospheric sounding verses, breaking into these less atmospheric, more just like hardcore hitting style choruses that give the artist more space to be like the atmosphere and like kind of the main focal point. And yeah, just keeping the energy moving, keeping the 808s in there, keeping a lot of the, just only really taking out one thing at a time. So that is my tips on arranging a beat, and really trying to focus on keeping a simple beat, just as main progression, and then adding a bunch of like life to it with atmospheric sounds, and then just keeping the arrangement simple with keeping the energy moving. So I apologize that didn't kick up this beat from scratch. That's really what I wanted to do, but OBS wasn't on our side today. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. We'll be coming back tomorrow with a full cook up. I'm thinking we're gonna do a Travis Scott stargazing type beat. We'll cook that up tonight, get it ready for you tomorrow. So shout out Young Frosty for that suggestion. So those are my arrangement tips. Hope you learned something today. Hope you like it. Let's listen to this beat, and I'm out of here. It's Music Nick. Peace. What's good?